that agriculture has.
The land of 10,000 lakes, Minnesota, is fourth in the country in farm subsidies. North Dakota, the Peace Garden state, ranks seventh. And the deficit reduction plan that President Barack Obama has introduced recently would kill a farm subsidy program, part of those farm subsidies, that paid nearly $16 billion to Minnesota and North Dakota farmers from 1995 through 2010. Also shrinks federal contributions to crop insurance programs and a land conservation program in the states by tens of millions of dollars per year. The president said we reform agriculture subsidies that a lot of times pay large farms for crops they don't grow. Again, these are direct payments that go to farmers based on crops they planted in past years, automatic, don't depend on commodity prices or demand. Eric Aasmunstad is the president of the North Dakota Farm Bureau, long arguing for reform in this particular area, so we wanted to get his take on what's been proposed here. Eric, nice to have you back. How are you?
Yeah, well, Scott, good to hear you.
Good to hear you as well. So what do you make of what the president plans here in the way of cuts to farm subsidies, these direct payments and the crop insurance changes?
Well, and a lot of, the elimination of the direct payments, I guess I have to say Obama finally got one right. They're unjustifiable in the eyes of the taxpayer. No one should be paid just because they are. I mean, it's ridiculous. We've long thought that direct payments were ridiculous, and I guess that the Obama administration does also. Then we'll jump down to the conservation cuts that he's talking about, and a person has to really look at that one. It's not cuts; it's an increase in the decrease. They're trimming, they're saying they're going to put money to more cost-effective programs, more environmentally beneficial programs, and that's still expected to grow by $60 billion over the next 10 years. So what they're doing is they're decreasing increases there. They're not decreasing that budget. But the part that's troubling, and I'm not saying that the loss of the subsidy is troubling, but if we're going to move away from direct payments, and we're going, we know this can't be done in one fell swoop. The place that they have to concentrate on is risk management. And I don't know if now is the time for as big a cuts as they're proposing there. Not saying that there shouldn't be cuts there, but they have to do this, I think, in an organized fashion. And this is kind of it's there, so let's cut it move. That's the important part of this whole farm spending issue, if you will, is risk management, and I don't know that it's getting enough look.
Are you talking specifically about the changes proposed for the crop insurance program?
Yes.
All right, and what is the president proposing here?
Well, what he's proposing is to take, what the heck was it? It's another $200 million per year out of that program. Well, if we're going to save $3 billion per year on direct payments, that's great. Well, let's take our time then and figure out a better mousetrap for the crop insurance. Our members have said that we should look at privatizing crop insurance. Now, is that possible? I think it is. But I don't think we have the political will to let that happen. And when I say that, Scott, the thing that's going to make crop insurance work in the private market is participation. If we can get nearly 100% participation nationwide, crop insurance, for the most part, would work in the marketplace. Let's face it, you and I both know that the marketplace can do anything better than the government can do it.
That's for sure, yeah. From the start trip piece,
as long as we have congressmen and senators that are willing to run to the public trough for anybody that stubs their toe as soon as they stub their toe, then crop insurance in the private market can't work.
The Star Trib piece on this says crop insurance companies enjoy an annual rate of return on investment of roughly 14% of taxpayer subsidies. Obama's plan cuts that return to 12% per year. It also requires farmers to pay higher crop insurance premiums if the government now pays more than 50% of their premiums. Nationally, the White House says the average U.S. farmer pays only 40% of his or her crop insurance premiums, with taxpayers picking up the balance. Colin Peterson,
that's probably for the most part, a fair statement. I'd argue that the insurance companies are making a 14% return because they're not. Now, are they making some money on it? Of course they are. If they weren't, they wouldn't sell it.
Yeah. So
that's the bottom line. But if we're going to take another, whatever it comes out to, another 3-4% out of the companies, well, then where are the companies going to find that to cut? Well, it's going to come out of service, because that's the only thing that the companies can offer is service. It's a predetermined nationwide price that everybody has to charge the same price. So you start cutting, if you start forcing these cuts, they're going to come out of service. And we're going to see a day, if they keep on doing these things without thinking them through and without transitioning to the free market in some organized fashion, we're going to see a day when there's only one or two companies selling this, and the availability is not going to be what it needs to be to offer farmers the protection they need. Let's face it, any other business out there, Scott, can go to the market and buy business interruption insurance or some form of insurance to cover themselves in case of catastrophe. This is all agriculture's got. So I think it's time we start letting industry take a look at this and seeing if we can improve on it.
Minnesota Farm Bureau is quoted in the story as saying farmers need a way to take on the risk of farming. We're willing to take our share of cuts, but we don't want it to be disproportionate. And suggesting that, the president's trying to poke a hole in a critical safety net here and unfairly targeting agriculture or putting, agriculture in the position of having to, bear more than its fair share of getting to a balance here. What would you say to that?
Well, I guess I can't disagree with it. I think he is taking a shot at crop insurance. And when you look at what they've done, and here's where I get to that, they're going to extend the permanent disaster program, or the SURE program, the Supplemental Revenue Assistance Program. That was a Senator Conrad brainchild, so I suppose we have to give him something. But that's a straight government subsidy based off your crop insurance losses. Well, why not get rid of SURE then and use that money to transition into the marketplace with crop insurance? See, none of this makes sense. We're cutting one place, and here's the neat thing. After this year, SURE isn't funded. But he's going to extend funding for that, but he's going to cut the only true safety net that agriculture has in crop insurance. Makes no sense.
Interesting take on this from Eric Aasmunstad, president of the North Dakota Farm Bureau. Some good, some bad in what the president proposes here, and certainly an effort to get our nation's fiscal house in order, and agriculture going to play a part here. Eric, thanks for the update. We'll stay in touch with you on this, okay?
You bet, Scott.
Take care. Good to talk to you. Take a break. Come back with more on the Common Sense Club of the Scott Leonard Show. Editor-in-Chief of the Texas Tribune on Rick Perry's Weekend. Next. Don't go away.